Welcome to Raising Your Vibrations, the manifestations of reality. And I am so glad that you decided to revisit this channel. Today we're going to be talking about depression and how depression is a program and how you can, and we believe that you will push the off button to depression and create or manifest a reality for yourselves so that depression no longer has a place in the manifestations of your evolved reality that you're going to create for yourself. So, the reason why I base a lot of my teachings on biblical principles, on the Bible, is because my background is theology with emphasis on Christianity, and that's just my background. And I believe that everyone needs to be grounded in something. Some people are grounded in metaphysics, some people are grounded in quantum physics, some people are grounded in the Quran, some people are grounded in science. Well, I am grounded in Christianity, and I base all of my teachings on biblical principles. However, I explain real things in reality that people are dealing with from a Christian perspective. So, pushing the off button on depression. We create our own reality. If you've been watching Raise Your Vibration, the manifestations of reality, then you're beginning to understand that we create our own reality. We manifest our own reality. How do we do this? We do this because in the book of Genesis, the Bible says God created us all in his image. So everything that we know that was created, that is manifested as a reality for us, happened from a word that was spoken out of God's mouth. And so if we're created in God's image, then we have the ability to speak reality into existence as well. In the beginning, God spoke and said, "Let there be light." And God seen that the light was good, so he separated the light from the darkness, and he called the light day, and he called the darkness dark, and he called the darkness night. And so, in the beginning, God spoke and said, let us make man in our image. In the beginning, God spoke and said, so everything that was created with a word. That's why the Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. We can speak life into existence, or we can choose to speak death into existence. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. The Bible also says that blessings and cursings is in the power of the tongue. We can bless our situations in life, or we can curse our situations in life. Now, how does this relate to depression as being a program that was instilled in our minds as children? Well, it all relates. It all fits in because when you were a child, and I really, really want you to think back to the time when you were a child and you were innocent and you never felt the feeling of depression. I'm talking about the time when, everything was just blessed and you felt happy and you felt wanted and you felt loved because you had the need and the desire to feel wanted and loved and happy, and you were joyful and you were innocent. Depression wasn't introduced to your life because it wasn't a part of your reality until the people in your life at that time they were significant others in your life, people that you had valued, that you held in high esteem, people that you valued in your life, people that meant something in your life, people who were influential in shaping your mind frame. They were influential in cradling your reality, assisting you manifest or cradle the reality that you desire to live in. Those people begin to teach you what depression was. But before they begin to teach you what depression was, you had no idea what depression was. So they uploaded depression in your mind being the computer in the matrix. They uploaded depression in your mind with their experiences in life. The woman said that she was having relationship problems and now she's depressed. You're viewing this as a child and you're beginning to understand what depression is. You want to understand, you want to stand under you know, her reality of depression, and so you begin to upload the knowledge of depression in your mind. But before that, you never experienced what depression was. And then when you got into a relationship, you created some things in our relationship so that you can have that template, that playback moment when you seen that woman say that she was depressed because of a negative interaction in a relationship. You see what I'm saying? And so that the memory of depression was uploaded in your mind, and then you began to you manifested that into your reality when you got into a relationship and you did something purposefully so that you can remember how the depression felt when you seen it through that woman when you were a child before the depression even existed. So we manifest depression into our existence. We made depression what it is in our reality. And so that's why it's significantly essential in breaking free from depression by simply pushing the off button. How do we do this? We do this by desiring a reality that is free from depression and matching our vibrations with the desire of creating and living in an existence or a reality that is free from depression, and allowing ourselves to be in that reality and to be in that reality without depression. How do we do that? We do that by mind. We have to convince our minds. We do that by affirmations. We do that by declarations. We do that by decreeing. I decree a new reality for myself, a reality that is free from depression. I decree that depression has no life in my new reality. I decree a life free from depression. I am not depressed. I don't know depression. Depression no longer lives in my reality. And we can create that by ourselves. Now listen, the good thing about this is that December 21st is coming up. Now, for everybody who's been studying about, if you haven't been up on what's going to take place on December 21st, 2012, then you really, really need to just Google it up, go to youtube.com and then type in what is going to happen on December 21st. And here's some of the perspectives. What's going to happen is that the veil is lifting up. And so there's a shifting from 3D dimension, from the dimension of 3D, which is Earth being, things that are physical in this reality on this planet at this time, into a fifth dimension, which is, a higher dimension than 3D. It's 5D. And in the fifth dimension, a lot of things is going to take place. So that's something else that you want to, I'm not going to spoil that for you, because I believe that, it's important for you to journey, because in your learning, you evolve into a greater state of consciousness. And in evolving into a greater state of consciousness, you manifest for yourself or create for yourself a greater state of existence. And that's what this thing is about. My job is simply to help raise your vibrations through giving you the real wisdom of what's going on with, the Illuminati programming us to feel depressed, programming us to feel fear, programming us to feel pain, programming us to feel, to feel cold, to feel hot. These are programs. You see what I'm saying? There's no cold, there's no hot, there's no depression, there's no gravity unless we allow it to be gravity. That's why you have people flying. People are actually flying. And you can fly too if you desire to. You just have to deprogram yourself from the gravity program and upload the program that I can fly into your mind, and then create that reality for yourself by speaking it. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Blessings and cursings is in the power of the tongue. I was having a conversation with this woman recently, and she was talking about how she wanted to lose weight, but she said that it was never going to happen because she didn't have the desire to work out. So I stopped her and I said, well, you know what? That's your reality. It's never going to happen for you because you just placed that limitation on yourself by saying that it wasn't going to happen for you. And she justified her limitations by saying that she didn't want to work out. She was never going to get fit and get in shape because she didn't want to work out. And so she placed that limitation on herself. And what I hope for you to understand is that we can create a reality for ourselves, and that's what she created. She created a reality for herself, and in her reality she envisions herself as never getting in shape and never getting healthy because she never wants to work out. You see what I'm saying? She created that reality. Now, life and death is in the power of the tongue, blessings and curses in the power of the tongue. We were created in God's image. God created everything by speaking it. And so she spoke death to her situation. She spoke death to the possibility that she can get healthy. She spoke death to the possibility that she can actually get in shape and get fit and live a healthy life. She spoke death to the possibility of feeling an energy that would allow her to work out. She cursed herself. She spoke a curse over herself, cursing herself with laziness, cursing herself with defeat, cursing herself with, feeling insignificant, and as a result, she's living in a reality of depression. She's depressed because she desires a reality where she can have strength to actually work out so that in this reality she can be fit and healthy. You see what I'm saying? But she is not living in this reality of having energy to work out and actually being fit because she is living, because she has a program of depression that is keeping her in a reality of self-defeat. You see what I'm saying? Now, her desire is to actually get healthy. So the goal is to raise your vibration up in a sense to where your vibration matches your desire, and you begin to speak and you begin to do what you desire for your reality, and you begin to manifest that reality in existence. And you can do that simply by speaking it. She can speak life to her situation by just simply saying, I have the strength to work out. I will get fit. I will be healthy. I will have the perfect body that I desire to have. I will live in the reality where I am happy. She's blessing herself now. She's no longer cursing herself with, oh, I'm fat and I'll never get in shape. She's no longer cursing herself with, I don't have the energy to work out. She is now changed the matrix of her mind in a way to where she is now blessing herself by saying, I have the energy to work out. I have the energy to get in shape. I will get in shape. I am in shape. I am working out my mind. I am working out my emotions. I feel the energy. I have the energy. And by speaking this, she will begin to will herself. She will begin to will this reality into existence by actually experiencing the emotions and actually experiencing the energy that is necessary for her to actually work out, and by working out, that is necessary for her to actually realize her goal of having the perfect fit and healthy body. And when that happens, what we see is the manifestations of her reality, the manifestations of her being healthy and fit in this reality that she created with her speaking, with her visualizing it and speaking it and willing it into existence. And so there's a combination of visualizing it. That's why the Bible says, for lack of vision, God's people are perishing. We have to see what direction we're going into. We have to have goals. So she visualizes it, then she speaks it, even though she doesn't feel it. That's why the Bible says, speak those things to be not as if they were. She didn't feel the energy, but she began to speak that she had energy to work out. And when she spoke it, she willed that energy into existence. Then she did something with that energy. She practiced the energy by actually working out, and in working out, she created the reality that she desired to create for herself, and she became fit and she became healthy. And so that is raising your vibration in a way that it matches your desires, and matching your desires, by matching your desires, you create the reality that you desire to create. Depression is a program. Deprogram yourself by uploading things that are contrary to depression. And if you continue this study, you will learn more on uploading. Thank you for visiting We love you and God bless you. We believe in you.